Hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes for people to hop on and chat and do all the fun stuff. I'm not driving for anybody that might be on here. I'm waiting in the pickup line. Hi. So I have about, I don't know what time it is. I have about 30 minutes before my kids come out of school and get loaded up in the car. So I wanted to see what everybody's doing this weekend. I am going to the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival on Sunday and Monday. And hopefully tomorrow I can do a little bit of planting. It's raining, so didn't really get much done today other than like inside stuff and, you know, animal feeding and stuff, but can't go out and dig in the dirt when it's pouring rain. Hello, hello. Thanks for being here. What are you guys doing this weekend? Hopefully it's fun. How's the weather where everybody's at? Hopefully not severe. It's a little wet today here. Oh, so it was raining all week, and I started to realize that my yard puddles in certain spaces, and yeah, my garage gets flooded when it rains, and it is definitely flooded right now. Awesome, you sold your house. That's great. I didn't know you were selling, but that's awesome that it sold. Selling a house is very stressful. Where are you guys moving to? Karen, transplanting seedlings. It's a cold, rainy day here too. Yeah. I hope tomorrow I can transplant a lot of seedlings. I need to go and get some more soil and compost to amend the beds that are already built. And I need to build a few more beds. We got the wood last weekend, and I just didn't get around to putting them together before it started raining. My breads turned out great. I delivered them all a few days ago, and it was the bee's knees bread was for April, and it was bee pollen and honey. And I made another one last night for a friend of mine, and she thought it was really good, so yay. So I was thinking that now that the chickens have their own little coop that I have to, or their own little run outside, I have to rethink my garden plans, because I had drawn it out a few months ago before I planned on having the run there. So now I have to go back and rethink all my garden plans, and I think I might have too many tomatoes now that I have to redo everything, but better to have too many than not enough, and I can always share my plants with friends. I can definitely do a video for the recipe, and I can add the recipe to the description of that video if that's something that you're interested. Hey, Cloyd. We're going to a crawfish festival this weekend. I'm so jealous. We don't get fresh crawfish all the way up here, and I'm a little sad about that. When I lived in Arkansas, we had this, it was just about 5 minutes from my house. We had this food trailer that would drive down to Louisiana and get fresh crawfish every single week. And every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'd have fresh crawfish. And every weekend, I would go and get some because they're so great. And you can only get them like during such a limited time of the year. And now that I live in Oklahoma, nobody drives all the way up here with fresh crawfish, so I don't get them that often. Yeah, she fell asleep on the way over here, and luckily we don't have to get out of the car. I decided to line up since it's raining, and just they bring the kids out to me, which is great, but it just takes longer, so oh well. All right, and is anybody on here going to the Baker Creek Festival this weekend? Or are we all just too far away to drive in? It's only about 3.5 hour drive for me. So that was something I could not pass up, going to see and experience and hopefully meet a lot of people. Aw, Happy Sabbath Homestead in Colorado. How far of a drive would that have been? Like 8-10 hours? Vivian, you can't go either? Aw. Vivian, are you too far away, or is it just like a scheduling conflict? I really want to go to the Homesteaders of America conference, but it's literally like 17-hour drive for me, and that's just not feasible for me. Yeah, 11 hours, New Hampshire, yeah, all those places, what just, I mean, it's just, yeah, too far to drive, unfortunately. You have crawfish all year round? That's awesome. I don't know, for some reason, like I had it in my head where you can only really get good crawfish during the cooler months of the year, like from February until like June, and then it gets too hot for them to really like have a whole lot of, maybe that's why they're more expensive, because there aren't as many just available. They're not as abundant. I'm not sure, but I know that I can't ever find fresh crawfish, and it's probably because I'm not in Louisiana on the coast, but I can't ever find fresh crawfish like other than like February to June, and not even up here anymore. Like when I lived in Arkansas, it was hard to find. Up here, there's like nothing. At least not that I've found. If anybody lives in Oklahoma and is watching this and knows where to get fresh crawfish, please hook a girl up. I need to know. Oh yeah, having a 26-year-old truck would definitely keep me from driving more than a few hours away too. My mom has a little Toyota Celica, and it's a 1997 model. She just drove from where we are, which is about an hour north of Tulsa, all the way to Little Rock, Arkansas. And I always get nervous when she makes that drive, because I just get worried that she's going to break down on the side of the road and she'll be all by herself and I won't be able to just come and help her. Okay, so this last weekend I set up a movable chicken run, and I got T-posts with poultry netting and zip tied the poultry netting to the T-posts, and I set it up right outside. I set it out right outside their window so that I can just open the window to their coop, and they can come out and have free reign of just that area. But before I had it set up, I only let them out there when I was out there. I wasn't really too concerned about them getting in the garden, more as worried that like a stray dog or a hawk would come and get them. I was just worried that they would hop a fence and get out. At least this way with their run out there, they have to hop multiple fences to get out. So I'm not as worried about them getting away anymore. Hi Sabrina, thanks for watching and thanks for reminding everybody. I appreciate it. But yeah, so now that I have their little movable run out, I just open the window in the morning and I let them out, and sometimes they hop that fence and I go out there and put them back in there. And then in the evening they put themselves away and I just have to shut the window. And it made it really easy. They know where their food is, they know where their water is, and they don't want to hop out the fence because then they can't figure out how to get back in to get to their water and food. So they don't generally do that very often. So that helps me out. Sabrina, what are you doing this weekend? Happy Sabbath, Homestead. I'm so itching to get rabbits so badly. Anytime I go and pick up chicken feed, I always check to see if they have rabbits, and they usually don't. And last weekend they did. They had does and they had bucks, and they were so, I just wanted to take them home with me and make all the little baby bunnies. And my husband's like, come on now, Kira, we're not ready for rabbits yet. I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I want them. And he was like, no, not yet. And so I waited. But I want ducks too, and I saw the ducks there, and I was like, they're so cute, I want to take them home. I also didn't indulge myself in that either. I just gotta wait and do it the right way. I don't want to get overwhelmed and then get animals and not have a place to put them, and gotta be responsible. Vivian, I don't have a window next to my counters, so my kombucha is generally in a back corner. I have little twinkly lights in my kitchen to keep it warm, because in the winter it's really cold. It's my least temperature controlled room. It's really, really cold in the winter, like a good 5-10 degrees colder than the rest of the house, because it was in the kitchen. So I just keep them there for my first and second fermentation. I would try different teas. I like to use 6 bags of green tea and 3 bags of black tea per gallon of kombucha. And I kind of messed with it a little bit. I used all green tea. I've used all black tea. I've used more black tea than green tea. And I like that ratio because the green tea is not as strong as black tea. And a lot of it is the second fermentation, what flavorings you're adding to it, and how long you're letting your first fermentation brew. If you let it brew too long, it'll be more sour than if you don't let it brew as long. I like to do 5 to 7 days in the summertime, and maybe 10 days in the winter. And then the second fermentation, I like to do 3 to 5 days, depending on how warm it is, just to get the carbonation. Really, the second fermentation is really just for carbonation and to let the fruit or juice infuse that flavor into your kombucha. And so, if you're not liking the flavor, I would just tweak it with tea strength and with second fermentation flavors. Some people just don't like kombucha, and that's okay too. But I would just try different tea strengths and see if that helps with the flavor. Hey, Bombs to Bushel Homestead. Yeah, Happy Sabbath Homestead. I can imagine that 2 turns into 30 really quickly. Just not enough room or protection from the sun. I feel like I have room for a few ducks, but any more than 3 or 4, I really don't have room for that. And as far as rabbits go, I feel like I have enough space in the garage for a rabbit habitat, but I don't have it set up yet. So if I were to do ducks or rabbits at this point, I wouldn't have a place to put them, and I don't think that's fair for the animals. So definitely had to refrain for sure. Yeah, I've heard ducklings are really messy, like really, really messy. Yeah, I like ducks. They're so cute. I wouldn't be eating them, so they'd be more of egg-laying pets for us. Rabbits, on the other hand, they would be food, so they're probably going to be prioritized over ducks because they have more of a purpose for us. Well, Vivian, since you love kombucha, I would just play with the tea strengths for sure, and that'll probably help the flavor. Hey, John, thanks for hopping on here. I'm just rambling about things. Okay, so I came up with my bread of the month club idea. Actually, I wasn't the one that came up with the idea. I was just trying to sell rolls at Thanksgiving, and I was like, well, I'll try and advertise that I do breads too. And my son's teacher suggested that she wanted to buy some sort of reoccurring gift for some friends of hers for Christmas, because it was right before Christmas, and she had thrown out the idea of like a reoccurring monthly thing, and I was like a subscription, and she's like, exactly. And so I kind of thought about it for a few weeks and came up with the bread of the month club, and and then so I came up with little gift certificates, and I write down what month it starts, and how I do 3 months, 6 month, or 12 month, and it's discounted based on how long you get. You prepay, and then every month on the same weekend everything gets baked, and they're supposed to come and pick it up technically, but since the majority of my customers are teachers, I just bring it up when I take my kids to school. So let me see. Yeah, I wish I could really let my animals roam, but in my urban setting, that's just it's not an option for us. Not everybody is a good dog owner, so I have to protect my animals the best that I can by not letting them have completely free range. John, I am driving up on Sunday. I'm not sure what time we're leaving yet. I'm planning on only taking this one and not the other two. And so I think we're going to leave mid-morning Sunday. But we have a hotel about 25 minutes away from Baker Creek. So we're going to stay Sunday night and then leave Monday afternoon. Really just depends on Steven and when he wants to leave, because technically he's supposed to be working on Monday. But ducks are loud. Well, poo on that. Probably not going to get ducks anytime soon. I'm sure my chickens are annoying my neighbors enough as it is. I've been doing the bread of the month since January was my first month doing it. So since January. I just got rid of all my Holland lop rabbits, and now I'm looking for Californian doe so I can retire my main doe. She is my favorite girl, my pet and main breeder. That's awesome. I think really the next animal that I'm going to get into is going to be rabbits, and it probably won't be before this fall sometime. I've got so much going on this summer with expanding gardens and trying to fence things in that right now my main focus is just going to be chickens and the quail and the gardens. The rabbits are probably going to be the next thing, especially considering ducks are loud now. Well, I knew that, but I try to get away with as much as I can. All the animals. Why wait? Because responsibility. You know, I have to be responsible. Josh. Enabler. You're an enabler, Josh. And that's totally okay, because I appreciate that because my husband's always like, no, stop, wait. But yeah, I have to wait till I have everything set up for them. And then definitely more animals. Josh, so when are you going to drive down for the Baker Creek Festival? And don't tell me something about work, because, come on. Yeah, fencing is really important. I want to fence in my front yard so that I can put raised beds in my front yard. And I originally had raised beds in my front yard last year, and I realized that since I'm a corner lot, people like to cut through my yard instead of following the sidewalk, and then stray dogs and stuff. I just didn't want to put in all the money and time in putting an elaborate raised garden system in the front and then having it all ruined by teenagers or dogs. Hey, Pete's Little Homestead. Thanks for being here. You live, Josh, you live vicariously through all of our livestock. Well, why don't you get any animals then? All the animals for you too. Yeah. We know you work. You work hard for that money. Oh no, one of your quail flew away. I am so afraid that one of my quail is gonna fly away because every time I open the door, they try to rush out that door. And I had one try and escape a few days ago, and I'm like, nope, you're going back in. I had to kind of like throw it back in there. It screamed freedom. And he probably regrets his decision right now that it doesn't have food and greens and water just like readily available for him. Vivian, I think month-old chickens need temperatures in the 90s. I could be wrong. I don't remember off the top of my head. I've only done chicks once, and that was in February. And so, if I'm wrong, somebody comment. Josh, does your wife work too? Bye, John. See you later. Vivian, I would, if they have feathers and if they're not acting like they're cold, I mean, I might still offer a heat lamp, but I'm no expert. Yeah, I need to trim the chicken's wings, and while I'm at it, I guess I should go ahead and trim the quail wings so that they can't just escape all of a sudden. Let me check what time it is. 3:19. Okay. I still have about like 5-10 minutes before I need to hop off here. Yeah, stay-at-home moms. She makes way too little for what she does. Yeah. I know that game. I know that life, that stay-at-home mom life. I got that. Is she not the livestocky keeping type? I feel like if I had to rely on my husband to do the livestock, we would never have livestock. Then again, it was my idea to homestead. It was never his dream. It was always my dream. So I'm the one that's like, all the gardens, all the animals, let's do this. And he was like, whoa now, that takes money. 24-hour shifts. Yeah, I feel that. All right. I feel ya. not if it's not really her passion or her thing. I completely understand not wanting to pile on more onto her already very full plate. I mean, 3 kids is a lot. I get it. I have 3 kids. There's a reason why I don't show you the inside of my house very often. I'm not the best housekeeper in the world, but I never claim to be either. At least my kids are fed and clean, and my animals are fed and happy, and everyone's alive. Thanks for joining us, Bums, to Bushels Homestead. I appreciate it. Us. Me and Sleepy Catherine. I actually have to hop off here too. Everybody's starting to fill in around me. So kids are about to come out soon, and it's starting to rain a little harder. So life is a compromise. 3 kids takes 10 seconds. Yeah, I know, right? I'll spend all day cleaning, and 3 kids will come home. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, you guys, for chatting with me while I was sitting here in the pickup line being bored. And I will hopefully go live again soon, sometime this weekend. And if not, then I'll have my next couple videos up soon.